Okay guys, this is Dr. Sean over at the Natural BodyWorks, and I just went through and did almost the whole video and never hit record, and that's happened before. So what I'm going through is some acupuncture needles, okay? And whether and how they can break off inside your skin and what to do if that happens. Also, what are the chances of that actually happening? Well, the truth is super duper 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 rare, and I'm going to show you why. Now, one of the things I did is I had this injectable, syringe, which I had the straight needle on, and I bent it all the heck to see if it would break, and it doesn't. So even this, and I can put about 3.18 acupuncture needles. The acupuncture needles I use are always blister packed, okay, like this. They come in a little blister pack, and they're all dated and serial numbered and all this kind of stuff. And you peel that off and you throw this part away, and then you have a brand new needle that you use one time, of course, right? Now these needles are either from a few different companies that I use. I use Sarin Alpha or DBC, but there's a lot of good companies out there. They make these out of a stainless steel alloy. And the stainless steel alloy, this one here is a 0.3 by about 2.5 inches long. I use this one for like more of the deeper tissue work, if we're doing some dry needling, if we're doing some muscle work, things like that. And let's see how much it would take if we can we bend this and not break it? Well, it looks like hell yeah we can. Actually, let's go around. Yeah, I can definitely bend this all the heck and it's not going to break. But watch this. If I take it, okay, and that's just like, I can do this, right? No problem, no problem. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Let's move it a little more aggressively. Come on. No, it's not going to break. Ah, there we go. So it took about 12, 15 hits for this part to break, which I just dropped in my computer. Oh well, I'll find it later apparently. Darn little needle. Anyway, so these, they'll break, but not the way we usually use them, okay? So this one, for example, here's another example of one. When it goes in, okay, it goes into the tissues. So imagine my fingers, this area here is like the tissue, and the needle goes in. We don't do this. You know, sometimes you may do a little like a tap or a touch or something like that. But most of the time, the needle manipulations are this way, either this way, in and out, pistoning, or rotation, turning, turning, turning. We don't usually do anything like this. I've never seen that as a technique. Perhaps it is, but nothing that I was ever taught. Other needles too you can use, like check out these little tiny ones. These are facial needles used on the face or the hands, or for people who are like terrified of big needles. These are the same diameter. Okay, these are about 0.15 actually. These are very, very small, but check this out. I'm going to put this in my hemostat. And the hemostat's a really good tool for when you use the needles as well, because you can use it to grip the needles. Let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So you're going to have to really bend that at a very extreme angle, at least 6 times, in order for them to break. And they're not going to break inside you that way. Okay, because you don't do that. I mean, if you're having that done, I don't know why you would, but that's not a good technique. Don't use that. Don't play with these things. These are supposed to be used by people who know how to use them and know how to deal with problems. Now, what are some other problems you can have with a needle? Well, that needle can get stuck. Okay, so as that needle goes in, let's get another one example here. So as that needle goes into the tissues, right? So we're pushing it in. It'll get stuck because maybe down here it touched a tendon or the periosteum. That'll be painful because you'll feel it. Feel an achy feel or a pinchy feel. And when you feel that, it hangs on and it'll hold on for a few minutes. Best thing to do is just come back to it in a minute or two, and usually it'll loosen right up. One of the hallmarks of the way I treat is when we're doing some of the spasm muscles. If that muscle finally relaxes, the needle comes out like it was buttered. It just comes right out. Sometimes it even falls out. And falls out means normal. That means that the tissues around it and the chi has let go. The energy is let go and relaxed and is flowing so easy again that those needles just come right out. It's a pretty common thing to happen if we're lucky and if we know where we're putting the needles and why. So when we're doing stuff with needles, if the needle does get stuck, you can use, again, the hemostat. That's this thing here. Okay, it locks a little bit. You can grip on the ends of the needle. There's another piece of needle on there already. Gotta be careful with those. There's a piece. So if it does get stuck, you can just grab that needle and pull it straight out. Okay, or you can grab, for example, let's use. Okay, so you grab it this way, and then you can angle and use either straight up push or use your finger and pull both edges up because I got to get it out of there. If it doesn't want to come out, you can do needles around it, and that'll loosen the tissues around it too, and allow those needles to come out. But really, breaking them inside you is exceptionally rare. I looked up where I could find any documentation on it. A lot of people talk about it, and there's a big risk of broken needles inside you. There's not. It's not a huge risk. It's a very, very small, like, I mean, obviously it can happen because I was able to break needles here, but it takes a lot of effort to break a good, modern, well-made needle. And if you're buying them from a reputable company, licensed and all this kind of stuff, like I do, I buy really good needles, and they're not expensive because they're made such in mass by these massive machines that just pump out all these needles, and they're very, very sharp, and they're very, very precise. Japanese companies are very good. Korean companies really good. Chinese companies really good. American companies really good. Everybody's very, very good. Everybody wants to be better, so they're always trying something new. I mean, some of them are even silicone covered. I don't like those, but they're supposed to be smoother when they enter and more ouchless. However, some of the ouches, some of the therapeutic benefits of the needles. So don't forget to, hey, subscribe if you like the channel. I'm doing more different things. You see the channel is evolved, and it changes a lot because I'm doing a lot of different things. I've been teaching anatomy and physiology, terminology, and biology, and so sometimes I do videos on there, and I just keep them on this because it's easier for me. Hopefully that's not confusing, too bad for you, but there are playlists. I have an acupuncture playlist. I have the AcuPen playlist, which I have somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I only have a few of those left anyway. And then I will be doing more videos on those. And then I have general stretching videos and things like that. And you can see all of the fun there. You can also find me online, thenaturalbodyworks.com. You can also just hunt me down on Facebook. I don't do a whole lot on social media because I try to focus on this kind of stuff. And that's what we've been doing. So this is Dr. Sean over at the Natural BodyWorks. So bending a needle, is it possible? Yeah. Breaking it, is it possible? Yeah. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Most likely. I mean, in all of the surveys that I've seen and done, myself, because I've asked around, I've never even heard anybody have that problem. I've heard people talk about the problem. It's a little bit mythical. Now you can injure other tissues if you're putting the needle too deep, or you have it go in the wrong places. I mean, there are cases of people that have had collapsed lungs because they put the needles up and through this area, and this is too thin, and it gets in there, and you or on the spine, or near the spine, or near the chest wall, on the sides or the back or the front, whatever, and they go straight in too far. You should never be doing that. You should be going at an angle or very, very, very small amounts. Now remember that if we look at this, which is the insertion tube that we use, let's see if I can find the actual needle that goes in that, because I moved everything around. So if we put that in here, this is about how they usually come in. This is how they show up for you, right? Like this. And there's an insertion tube, but if we look, we can see if we push this all the way down, watch, this end is where the needle will come out. The needle's only going in that far, okay? And that's maybe, I guess we're looking at that's a quarter inch, which is rather deep. Okay, that's pretty deep. Most of them it's even less than that. But that's going to be a good hold down spot for that needle and get the point pretty good. Now, generally, if you look at the protocols, okay, pretty much max is 1 sun, and that's about this far, 1 inch. That's for me. Okay, the one for you is that for you. One of these, 1.5, maybe 2. So maybe that deep in a big, heavy muscle like the glute, for example, that's the rump, or maybe some of the paraspinals or something like that, or shoulder or something like that, or arm. Big, meaty muscles, you may have to go that deep. You can go deeper with other needles. However, you don't really have to. And most of the time, it's about less than 1 body inch. Now, we don't do this kind of thing with the needle, ever. So you're not going to have there's no acupuncturist that I know or have met, I don't think, that will do this kind of thing with a needle. They'll do this, or they'll do this, twisty, twisty, twisty. And those things won't cause the needle to break. They may cause it to stick, and then you got to tug it, or you leave it a while, and it comes out later. So anyway, this is Dr. Sean over at the Center Path. Center Path. That's my other channel. You can go look at that channel too. That's about meditation and Buddhism and stuff like that, because I teach that as well. This is the Natural BodyWorks. Be good. Don't worry about it. You're not going to have it. It's not going to stick in you. There are some needles, though, that are supposed to. They have a little, like a beveled end in the side there. There's a little edge on it, and you can insert it and break it off inside on purpose. Generally, those are made of gold, okay? And that's to enhance the way the energy flows. They're permanent. They don't cause any problems. You can even rub on them, and you don't even feel it. You may feel something, maybe, I guess. But they're deep enough just under the skin that they stay where they are. They don't really migrate too much. Sometimes they do, but it's very, very, very rare that they do anything wrong. So they're super safe. Anyway, this is Dr. Sean over the Natural BodyWorks. You guys take care. I'll talk to you guys later. And, go get some acupuncture. It's good for you. It's nice. It relaxes. And don't forget there's a point right there. It calms the mind. We all need that. Talk to you later.